Good afternoon. My name is Rick Nader. I'm the Vice Provost for International Affairs at University of North Texas, and I have the honor to welcome you to today's event. I'd really prefer to adhere to the 3 B's of public speaking, if you've heard of them. Be brief, be funny, and be seated. However, this occasion does not call for that type of brevity. We're here for 3 important purposes. The first is to cut the ribbon on a newly renovated, beautiful home for UNT-International in Marquis Hall. It is a central location, prime real estate. It shows the administration's prioritization of global as central to the university's efforts at creating great global citizens. Second, to recognize and recommit to the cause of peace and cultural understanding through the newly reorganized International Center. It's a program formerly known as the Welcome Center, which you may have heard of, but we realized it does so much more than just welcome. It gives a lot of help throughout the time that the students and visiting scholars are here. This office is aptly led by Olga Grieco, Yunji Langren, and Mary Beth Butler and the staff of the International Center. It is dedicated to improving the quality of life and retention of international students. It's also responsible, among many other offices, to dispel myths about stereotypes about foreign cultures while building bridges across cultures and building friendships. The International Center recognizes something very important that we all recognize at UNT, and that is that diversity and international education are key to creativity and innovation. So ideally, we start young, and you'll note we have some Denton ISD school students here today. You want to raise your hand and identify yourself? You could easily be UNT students. We're really glad you're here, and I hope you'll consider coming to the University of North Texas. The International Center provides the programming to help students, when they get to the university, blossom into globally competent citizens of the world. Our third purpose is to dedicate a new chapter in the history of UNT International. On this September 21st, the UN Day of International Peace, we will unveil a peace pole to symbolize our conviction that the purpose of education is to move humanity toward a peaceful and sustainable coexistence. And let me just pause in my remarks to recognize that there are no greater champions of this cause than the staff, instructors, and students of UNT International, and I consider it a great privilege and an honor to work with such a fine group of people. So will you give them a round of applause? Thank you. Now I'm going to recognize some very important people here. You're all very important, but there are some that are even more important that we have to render. And I hope you will please hold your applause until the end, because there are many names on this list at such an auspicious occasion. Starting with some of our speakers, UNT President Neil Smotrisk, Superintendent of Denton ISD. If you will raise your hand if you're seated, or otherwise standing, raise your hand so people know who you are. Superintendent of Denton ISD and UNT alum, Dr. Jamie Wilson. We also have 16 relatives and descendants of Robert Lincoln Marquis. We all raise your hand. That was worth applause. We also have some other very important people here. Mr. Anos Daboul, a recent UNT Biological Sciences graduate, originally from Syria. Okay. Now I know who you are. Okay. And also representing 6 members of the DFW Consular Corps, the Dean of the Consular Corps, the Honorable Jose Octavio Tripp, Consul General of Mexico. He represents the Honorable Vincenzo Baleta, Consul of Honduras, the Honorable Jose Mejia, Consul General of El Salvador, the Honorable Sarah Wilshaw, Consul General of Canada, the Honorable Dong Chung Kim, Head of Mission and Consul General of Korea, and the Honorable Dong Gyu Lee, also Consul of Korea. Very good. We'll give them a round. So UNT also has many friends around the world, alumni and partners, and we're really lucky to have several of them who could make it here today. I'd like to recognize Jorge Bernaldez, Technical Secretary to the Rector, and Dr. Enrique Severa of UAEM, Toluca, Mexico. Mr. Fred Coffey, you'll raise your hand, UNT alum, to Denton, is retired to Denton after a distinguished career as a Foreign Service officer, and he has graciously volunteered to help our students in applying and winning Fulbrights. So Fred, thank you for your giving spirit and for helping UNT move into the top tiers for Fulbright. Also, Mr. Roddy and Ms. Mona Al-Rashid. Roddy is a UNT alum and former roommate of His Excellency Adel Al-Jubeir, a name you may be familiar with as well. And he is currently the UNT alum serving as the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia. As you can tell, we have many community champions here. It's great to see everybody in this crowd. It's just very, very heartwarming. And among those are Bob Ashley of Global Interact. Bob, will you raise your hand? And that's a group of community leaders who have been very, very good to international students over 20, 25 years, I don't know how many years, but many, many years, and always making them feel welcome. And let me take one breath. I said I'd be fast, but I didn't want to pass out. And although Mr. Charnuswachok could not be here today, I wanted you to see the impact of his giving. And will anyone who has received a Charn grant or otherwise benefited from Charn's giving, please raise your hands.
I love it.
Ava, I know you. Hundreds and hundreds of people over the time since his original gift, and we really thank him and wish he was here. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize UNT leadership. Again, hold your applause until the end, unless you can't resist. And their names also appear in your program. From the UNT system, Dave Reynolds, Associate Vice President of Facilities, Helen Bailey and Terry Pierce. Contractors, Scott Lee of Jarris Construction, Tom McCarty of LBL Architects, and Randy Jones of the Jordan Group. You're there out there. And from the Provost Office, anyone from the Provost Office? I think we had a couple that could come. There you are, Christy, thank you for coming. And is Darlene Callahan anywhere to be seen? Okay, she's in charge of space in management at UNT. Let me be clear. There you are in the back. Darlene, thank you so much. What a great job you're doing. What a job to have space management at UNT. So, thank you for that. And everyone else, there are too many of you to name, but I will, of course, want to recognize any members of the Global Affairs Committee, which is UNT-International's internal advisory group on international affairs. If you're here, okay, now you may applaud. Continuing with the program, I'd like to now introduce a very special person at UNT. It gives me great pleasure to welcome UNT's 16th president, Dr. Neil Smatras, to the stage for brief remarks. Dr. Smatras.
Thank you very much, Rick. Apparently I'm the only one that got the business casual memo, but I do try to follow the rules. Whoa. Thank you. I will keep this fairly brief, but first of all, what a great day and what a great year. The weather's amazing, and it's always beautiful here at lovely UNT in Denton. This year we broke so many different records. We have students now over 37,000, an all-time high watermark. That's amazing. We have the largest freshman class we've ever brought in, and the most talented freshman class we've ever brought in, with 15 National Merit Scholars. We have students from 50 states and over 130 countries in attendance for those 2,500 international students. This is a wonderful university, an amazing resource. Where else in a small town in the heart of Texas do you find this kind of global diversity? And where do you get to celebrate so many different cultures? One of the things we do in higher ed is to make sure that we embrace the world around us, and we can't always get out to the world. So our ability to bring in wonderful students, represented here in part by the students we bring in from many different countries, really is a chance for us to learn and benefit and to become more capable of dealing in a modern world that is exceedingly complex and connected. So a big round of applause for our international students who make UNT better for all of us. And we're here today not just to dedicate this lovely facility, which will serve as a cornerstone for providing a gateway entry, advising, as well as all the kinds of mechanical stuff that you have to do when you're processing international students and welcoming them to our community, but also a place in which they can begin to learn English with our very, very strong ESL courses that we offer for undergraduate and graduate students who come from other countries. So that's a great opportunity for them as well. And along with a celebration of everything international, I'm so pleased today that one of our great alum, Dr. Jamie Wilson from the Denton Independent School District, is here with us, bringing all of those wonderful students. You all need to come to UNT because this is simply the best place to get an education in the state of Texas. But now you can understand, especially if you're in the International Baccalaureate program, that you can get a truly international education without ever even having to leave home. And that's really the kind of opportunity that we're talking about. I'd love to thank the members of the Marquis family. I just hope I have 16 descendants. And you all showing up here today is really meaningful as part of the ongoing history and legacy of our campus. And speaking of the history of our campus, it's our 125th year, our Quasqua Centennial. It was celebrated just last week, Wednesday, when our first president, President Chilton, gave his first address to the 70 students who started the University of North Texas in a little room above a hardware store on the square, where he said, we're going to produce leaders of young men and women. And by leaders, I'm sure he couldn't have anticipated the leaders and the leadership skills that would be needed in a world that wasn't just bounded by the town square, but was bounded by virtually the entire biosphere. So we've come a long way, and I know he'd be incredibly proud if he was here today to see how far we've come, and we're proud that you're part of the ongoing and living legacy of one of the greats of our university. So thank you very, very much for being here today. I just want to make sure I'm thanking our sponsoring organization, UNT-International, and again, give a shout out to Darlene. Thank you. This project wasn't easy. I know it went for a while, as many projects do, but hey, we brought it to closure, and it's a good time to celebrate. I am going to next welcome our superintendent from Denton Independent School District, Jamie Wilson, and I'll brag about him for just a little bit, because I know everybody hates to hear gushy things about themselves, but just a little is what I'm going to need. Our partnerships with DISD have been around for a long time. Last week, for example, on campus, we had, I don't know, every sixth grader. How many was that, Jamie? 2,000 sixth graders on campus, which made me horribly confused. I was wondering about the mean age of entering students as they were dashing all over the place, having a really good time here, getting exposed to higher education and getting to know a little bit about what that meant so that they knew that that was a path and a route for them. Our superintendent is certainly a champion of reaching out, of being a great partner. We're also partners with something called the Eagle Advantage. We automatically accept the top 20% of all Denton students in their junior year. So welcome again if you're juniors back there. Some of you look a little too young to be juniors, but that's okay. Dr. Wilson has not only catalyzed the International Baccalaureate program, he's been here for a period of what I can only call explosive growth in DISD, opening up 3 secondary campuses, 6 elementary schools, increasingly dealing and with the challenges and the benefits of having a remarkably diverse student population. And so the population of Denton is beginning to reflect the kind of diversity that you see here on our campus. He, of course, is an alum, but he's been serving, he served as a biology teacher, a coach, a science department chair, an assistant principal, a principal, and I believe an associate superintendent. Sorry for missing that. And not only is he just a one-time alum, he's a double alum, having received both his bachelor's and master's from UNT, and completing, triple alum, completing his doctorate from UNT here, where he received the Outstanding Doctoral Student in Education Administration Award. And we give out very few of those, and there's really a lot of students. So you know you got a winner in Jamie, and I just want to welcome him to the stage as a partner and friend in this wonderful enterprise we call Denton. Thank you.
I just want to thank University of North Texas for hosting us today and having us have an opportunity for our students to be here and to really see the partnership. You see, it was about 10 years ago when our school district was really at a point where we had to make some really tough decisions about where we went with our academic programs. We're growing about 1,000 students a year. And for what that means is you hear 6,000, 7,000 freshmen. Well, that's a big stress on dorms and things at UNT. But you can always do classes at different times of the day, nights, weekends, online courses to offer the opportunity for students to learn. For us, 1,000 students a year is about equivalent to a school. And we've been doing that for the last 10 years. So think about 10 schools in 10 years and what it takes to get a building like this completed, making sure you keep the historical representation in place, and to make those things happen. In our school district, we began our endeavor with the International Baccalaureate program just over 10 years ago with the study. Today with me are some of our students from our middle years program at Calhoun Middle School, and then our DYP program at Denton High School. And we were one of the first school districts in the state of Texas to have an International Baccalaureate program for kindergarten through 12th grade. And our teachers are committed to a true international education from the standpoint of creating global thinkers and creativeness and innovativeness and opportunities for design as they go through our system. But it doesn't stop there in our school district. North Texas has always been a huge partner for us, but so has our community. And a couple of years ago, we had an opportunity to redo our mission statement. And I want to share that with you. I'm going to read it to you because every word is important. We asked our community what they valued in education and what they wanted, and we did that through social media. And I want to tell you a little bit about how that all went. So here's what we came up with. Empowering lifelong learners to be engaged citizens who positively impact their local and global community. So you see, it's not just about local, but it's global as well, the entire international experience. And from that, we felt like we needed a new logo as well. So we worked to develop a new logo based upon that mission statement. And here's how we did that. We could have had an art student in our classrooms submit designs and have us choose. We could have one of our art teachers. It could have been an art student here at UNT who made that decision to submit for our logo. But what we did was we used technology. And we put it out on a website called 99 Designs. We said someone is going to get an entire $1,000, whether we choose your logo or not. So $1,000 is not a whole lot of money for an artist, right? And it's sure not a lot of money for an institution to spend on logo development. Ask Pepsi, ask Doritos, ask Tostitos, all of those, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on logo with branding. So for $1,000, we were going to get a logo. And we put it out all over the world, and the winning designer was from Indonesia. It's very interesting that winning designer from Indonesia, we had to talk to them at 2 and 3 in the morning so we could get feedback on our design. So while you can't see it here, one of the things that you will notice if you ever go to our website, you'll see the courthouse in the corner of our logo. That represents the local piece. You will see colors of the globe representing global and diversity and many different cultures and many different organizations, so that you can actually live in one community and market yourself, your goods, and everything that you're about in other communities all around the world. We are so pleased to be here today for this dedication. Thank you to the family for being here. 16 descendants, wow. And that's all you can say is wow. If you get a chance to visit with our students, ask them about their projects. Some of them have completed a 5th grade project. Some of them have completed their MYP projects, and others are working on the diploma projects, which will be scored on an international scale from people all over the world. Our students at Denton ISD can come here and be very successful. They can also go anywhere they choose to go because they're global thinkers. Thank you for partnering with us, and thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you very much. Anybody taking a picture? Thank you, Jamie. Well, we put this podium here to keep speaking short. If you think the spotlights are hot, you should try the Texas sun. But I want to now introduce, thank you, Dr. Smadges. I know you had to leave for another appointment. Bob Brown, there is a seat up here if you'd like to sit down. It's up to you. And I'd now like to introduce, oh, I forgot. In an age of recognizing the importance of academic affairs and deans, I think I skipped you guys in the introduction. So thank you to the deans for being here and for all that you do. Okay, now we can move on. I'd like to introduce now a great friend to UNT. He is Dean of the DFW Consular Corps, but more than that, a special friend that we have has become known to us and us to him in the Mexican consulate in Dallas, Mr. Jose Octavio Tripp, please.
Good morning, everyone. I promise to be brief just in order to attend your comments and according to the program, but above all because you do not deserve to be punished with my terrible accent for more than 2 minutes, so I promise to be very concise. First of all, let me tell you that this is a real privilege to be here in one of the most prestigious universities and institutions of higher education in Texas. Considering the diversity and the cosmopolitanism that I can appreciate here, I'm sure that in the near future this university will have the necessity to add a second name to the University of North Texas, and it's going to be probably the University of North Texas and the University of the United Nations in Texas, because it's impressive the cosmopolitanism that I can appreciate here. Let me tell you that any excuse to visit this campus is always a great opportunity to appreciate the strategic role that this university is doing, promoting more and better education in the state, but with something that is quite relevant, with an evident sense of social inclusion. And this is something that we really value, and this is why, for my colleagues of the Consular Corps and for the Consulate General of Mexico, you are a partner of excellence in several initiatives. So we really appreciate this invitation because you means prestige, efficiency, and excellence at the end of the day. The opening and the rededication of this building at this zone as an international facility is another clear expression of institutional success. And something that is interesting as well is that you are celebrating this event in the day of the International Peace Day. So that means that your educative agenda is connected with the world agenda, and this is something that we really celebrate because education and the world agenda and peace in such contexts are very, very relevant. So without further ado, congratulations for this opening, and let me conclude my remark just saying that let's follow together the green light greatness, for greatness. Thank you very much for the invitation, very kind.
Okay, thank you so much for those comments. I'd like to continue with the program to say a few words about the new Marquis building dedicated on this auspicious year of the 125th anniversary. We're saying Marquis. Who doesn't know that it's called the Marquis building? I didn't know. Marquis. I think we've mispronounced that for many years, but from this day forward, we will pronounce it correctly. Our appreciation again goes to System Facilities and also to the UNT administration. I'll tell you, in an age of capital project choices and cost cutting and everything else that you can imagine goes into a public project like this at this scale, well, you know the story of Goldilocks and the bears, right? Now, Goldilocks was trying lots of different things. So UNT tried UNT-International lots of different places. So we've been over at Kendall, we've been at Sycamore, we've probably been at SRB. Anyway, but now we have found just right building for for our staff. So I really appreciate UNT's ability and willingness to move us in. It is also highly appropriate and auspicious to have with us today 16 descendants and relatives of the Robert Lincoln Marquis, the 6th president, I hope I have that correct, of North Texas Normal College and the namesake of the building. During his 11 years as president, many of UNT's founding traditions began. In 1925, through his lobbying efforts, North Texas received its first accreditation from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. By the end of the decade, North Texas had more faculty with PhDs than any other teachers college in the state, earning it North Texas State Board of Education's rating as the best teachers college in Texas. I would argue it is still today. And in 1934, it was also the largest with 1,800 students, mostly female. Now let me recognize the family by name, and it's great to have you here on this occasion. Robert Lincoln Marquis IV, Robert Lincoln Marquis V, Eric and Corinne Watford, Michelle, I'm not going to look up because I'll lose my place, Michelle Watford Tyler, Barbara Marquis, Susan Marquis Friday, John Friday, Kimberly Cummings, Jade Allen, Adam, Jen, and Bailey Friday, Beth Wright, Becky Wright, and Jackie Fuller, and I hope I caught all of you. If I didn't, I apologize. But anyway, welcome. Please give yourself I know they have a big day planned for you, and you've already been on some campus tours, and so you may tour the building at your leisure. A few interesting facts are in order, I think, about the Marquis building as I was looking at others who did a lot of research into this. So it was very interesting. So we rededicate this building today. However, originally built in 1934, it was a Federal Works Progress Administration project. And, Bob, you'll love this, at a reported cost of $185,000. So I thought you'd appreciate that. For some perspective, in 1934, gas prices were 10 cents a gallon. And it was that year that saw the turning point in the Great Depression in America, with unemployment decreasing to 22%. And it was also the year Bonnie and Clyde met their fate. Anyway, okay, enough trivia for 1934. Marquis Hall was built first as a dormitory, as the first dormitory on campus, to assure the safety and security of its female residents who prior had to live in boarding houses in the city. The first dormitory at UNT, it came equipped with 2 dining halls, crystal ballroom with a crystal chandelier, which are now the offices of the IELI teachers, so I hope you understand what an auspicious room you are occupying. And the building had a capacity of 112 residents. I will note that UNT-I staff, students, and building visitors exceed 500 a day. Okay? Marquis Hall also only allowed male visitors from 5 to 7, so I wouldn't even be allowed in the building if it were 1934. Residents also recalled Saturday evening dances right back here in the parking lot between Marquis and Terrell. I think that's something we should restart as a tradition here. It'd be fun. I'd have to give up my parking space, but that'd be okay. Anyway, so it last renovated in 1978. Today, 2015, renovations show off very unique historical features. This tells me we're way over time. Such as fluted columns, original doors and window transoms, terrazzo flooring. The building also features some modern sustainable LED lighting and high efficiency HVAC, and just in case we ever need it, we have our own diesel power plant in case UNT somehow goes off the electric grid. As importantly now, it is ready for the 21st century and global engagement. Hanging on the walls are art commissioned on global themes produced by students of the IELI, the Intensive English Language Institute. It also contains a collection of 63 masks from around the world entrusted to UNT-I by Dr. Warren Berggren. It has a beautiful handprint mural of the world made by the many multicultural handprints of our current students and staff at UNT-I. So we welcome you to come to the building and check it out. And I think the original, I was thinking, would I have to make anything up, and I don't think so. The original dedication of the building is as appropriate today as it was then. And I quote, "It is the acme of modern equipment, efficiency, and beauty. It stands apart from the main campus, though it is the center of many prominent activities of the college. Dedicated to the memory of the beloved Dr. Robert Lincoln Marquis, late president of the college, it seems to be infused with his beautiful, unforgettable spirit of simplicity, hospitality, and friendship, so I can think of no better place to put the International Center." So, okay, well, I invite you to tour the building at your leisure, and now Also, continuing with the program, and appropriately for this occasion, we would like to recognize the 21st of September, the UN International Day of Peace, with a new peace poll. I'd like to thank Mary Beth Butler. I think you came up with that, didn't you? If you didn't, I'm going to give you credit for it. With the idea of having a peace poll and working with Joel Selmir of peacepolls.com. One of the primary goals, as you know, and said many times before, of international education is to further peace and understanding. In the words of Senator J. William Fulbright, our work seeks to bring a little more knowledge, a little more reason, and a little more compassion into world affairs, to thereby increase the chance that nations will learn to at last live in peace and friendship. The Peace Poll and the scholarships that it represents are made possible by you, by donors and sponsors. And I wish to thank each and every one of you who gave from your hearts, including the Castleberry Peace Institute, Global Interact, and the many individuals and families who care deeply about promoting peace through international education. Just inside the building is a donor wall to recognize your generosity. The Peace Poll Project is an international phenomenon founded in 1975, and each poll bears the message, "May peace prevail on earth," in multiple languages. Peace polls are located in 180 countries. Over 200,000 have been erected by cities, schools, places of worship, and parks. There are peace polls at the Great Pyramids of Giza, Allenby Bridge between Israel and Jordan, the North Pole, and now, appropriately, North Texas. On a calm and peaceful day like today, and hot, it is not always easy to relate to what it would be like to not have peace. However, some of our international students at UNT live this reality every day. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Anas Tabul, a UNT alum from Syria, to say a few words. Anas.
First of all, I would like to thank UNT-International for giving me the opportunity today to speak about peace. My name is Anas Dabul, and I'm from Syria. 4 years ago, talking about Syria was an interesting topic. A country with the oldest capital in the world, Damascus, the place where the first alphabet was made and the starting point of many civilizations. But now, the history of humanity is being destroyed. Great Palmyra is in possession of ISIL, formerly ISIS. When I think of Syria, I think of a war zone, stained with blood, carpeted with the human bodies. A spark that lit the revolution's flame began in the city of Daraa. After the arrest of more than 15 children for writing that people want to overthrow the regime, which was something they heard on the news as the Arab Spring was rising. They did not understand the meaning or the gravity of what they wrote. They were beaten, bloodied, and burned by men who do not know the meaning of the word mercy. Since that day, every single life on the Syrian land has suffered. A tragedy has been happening every day, every hour. We have failed to find a solution for those lives. Millions are trying to escape the war, even if it means putting their life on the edge. Peace for a Syrian means to be able to breathe clean air, not an air filled with gunpowder and tear gas. Being able to sleep at night without waking up to explosions or breathing sarin gas. Imagine one day sitting on a table with your family, having a dinner, and the next day you are in a tent. Your home got destroyed and your mere support is gone. Hala, one of 6 orphan children living in a tent in Lebanon, already knows the struggle of supporting a family at the age of 11. 2 years ago, she watched her mom die in an airstrike and her father is missing. She lives by collecting rubbish and trash off the streets and selling it for bread. Hala is luckier than Aylan, a 3-year-old kid whose body was discovered along with his brother and mother on a Turkish shore. 5 days ago, 22 people drowned trying to find peace. Peace has no color, no taste. It's like water. You don't appreciate it until it's gone. My family once lived in a warm home in the middle of Damascus. My father owned a factory, and the present and the future were a guarantee. After the war, my family were forced to leave everything behind and start all over again. One moment can take all the guarantees, memory, and the future from you. But despite, every day I create new memories and forge new guarantees. I dream that the future generations will never have to experience the tragedy of war. Every day I'm working to a future of peace, as it's the most precious and important thing we can ever have. Today we can start from our community here and spread it across the globe. This peace ball represents that beginning. It's a symbol that we must never take peace for granted. Peace is not given by God. Peace is a gift of mankind to each other. And thank you.
Fantastic, thank you so much. So may peace prevail on earth, and we will now move to dedicate the Peace Bowl. In so doing, Gabrielle is going to tell me what to do. Stage party, yes, okay. Will the consuls, wait just a minute, will Anas, Bob Brown, I think the president is not there, and Octavia Tripp, please, make your way toward the pole, and we will seat you there. Jamie, yes, I didn't mean to forget you. Okay. Yes, do it. Let's do it. All of us. Let's do it. And Susan Marquis Friday, will you join that group as well? We were thinking of 3 pictures, but I think let's, in the interest of time and the heat, let's just do one. Okay.